What's up, guys? Welcome to a new video. As you can tell, I'm not in my normal shooting situation. I'm out in a hotel right now. And I wanted to talk to you guys about the new MacBooks, specifically the M3 stuff that came out about a month ago. So I've had a chance to be using this right here, the 14-inch MacBook Pro. This is the M3 Max, so the 14-core CPU, 30-core GPU, 1 terabyte of storage with the 36 gigs of RAM. And I got the space black color, and I don't know if you can tell, I can't really see that many fingerprints on it, so I think the space black color did a pretty decent job. And I've also got the 16-inch version of the same exact spec. And I wanted to talk about my experience so far, how it's been using them. And first things first, I used to be a biggest display possible kind of person, but this 14-inch is already super heavy to be walking around, and I've been carrying both of them to be able to use both of them on and off. And I won't lie to you guys, I have been loving the 14-inch specifically because it's a bit lighter. Carrying both of these around all the time has been kind of annoying. This thing weighs a lot. I'll put the exact weights on screen. But that's about that as far as looks go. They look pretty much the same as the M1 MacBooks and things like that. So as far as performance is concerned, why didn't I get the M3 Pro instead of the Max, or just stick with the regular M3? So I don't know if you guys know, the regular M3 on the MacBook Pros has one USB-C port missing on the actual shell. I don't know why they did that. I feel like it would have been cheaper to have that extra port, even if it, wasn't as useful as the other ports, even if it was just for power or things like that. I believe that has to do with the M3 chip having some limitations as far as how many USB-C ports it can handle. But I've been using this 14-inch a lot more than that 16-inch, and that's mostly just because size constraints. It's way too heavy, and honestly, I think the 14-inch screen size is enough for me and what I do. And this new chip has really been helpful when it comes to editing videos. I picked the Max specifically because it has 2 accelerators for video encode and decode instead of just one, which on the M3 Pro only has one, and it's been great. Now, this is coming from someone who had an Intel-based MacBook Air, so this is a pretty big jump for me specifically. So first issue I have, and this comes down to do with flights. So I've been flying around a lot, and the tray tables are not built for like laptops bigger than maybe 12 inches, like display size. So the 14-inch already takes up the entire tray, plus it sticks out, and there isn't a lot of space to open it. So it's a bit big on that front. Now that's for us mortal people who fly economy and stuff like that. If you're first class, you don't got a trip. That issue is even worse with the 16-inch. And so that's just one of those things you kind of have to get used to. I've been plugging it into my external display at home. That's been great, but Apple's a bit picky with external displays. Not that they don't work, just the way it handles it. So when I'm home, use my laptop as a desktop. So I plug in my monitor, keyboard, mouse, and I use wireless mice and wireless keyboard. But the monitors, I have 2 USB-C DisplayPort cables going into the MacBook, and for some reason, it doesn't like my display setup. When I plug them in, if I plug them in at a certain point in the boot sequence, it just won't pop up on screen. So I have to unlock the laptop, plug them in, and then give them about like 15 seconds. One monitor will light up, then turn off. The other monitor will light up, then turn off. And then they'll both light up again. Not exactly sure why that happens, but hey, it is what it is. Other than that, as far as power is concerned, it's been great for me. I haven't had any issues. Nothing that I felt was really slow or lagging. It's been great. Battery, on the other hand, has been very interesting. So these are both, like I said earlier, the same spec, but the 16-inch obviously does have a larger battery with a larger screen. And I've been getting pretty similar battery life on each. I don't do the same things on each laptop, so that obviously can definitely change depending on, you know, what you're doing. But I usually get a solid day's worth of battery and a little bit more extra. So I'm not really worried about having to lug a charger around. And while I've been in these hotels, I've usually been able to charge before my flight, get to my hotel with tons of battery left, then you'd be able to use it for the rest of that day and a little bit into the next day before I have to even worry about charging. And now that everything is USB-C, or almost everything, I only have to carry one USB-C cable with me everywhere, which has been amazing, thank God. Now, the displays. They're great. I haven't had any issues. I love the 120 hertz ProMotion. I think they're, you know, super color accurate, which is great for the video editing that I do. And they're bright. The 14 inch is definitely big enough for me, but if you like that bigger size display, you can go to the 16 inch. Now, my issue with the displays comes down to the notch. The notch, at least the way Apple marketed it, doesn't bite into your display. So the laptop actually, or the Mac, has a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, which is great because you have that extra vertical room, but the notch bites into that and takes up space that really isn't useful since most menu bars don't really go into that middle area. But as people have pointed out with previous MacBooks, the MacBook treats it like there's a display behind that notch, so your cursor can go behind it, which I don't like. I wish that was just a dead area and it would force your cursor to go under it or around it. And I don't know why it's like that. Also, I get that the display is too thin and that might be an issue for Face ID, but I don't know. I figured Apple could have probably figured something out in the, I don't know how long it's been, 3 or so years that the M generation has been going on. They've been using the notch displays. Not having Face ID on a $3,000 machine is kind of ridiculous, if I'm being honest. Face ID is fine, it works and it's good enough, but I do miss Windows Hello, and I don't know why Apple hasn't, you know, at least figured something out. I know a lot of Windows Hello systems are just strictly camera-based and aren't the most secure, which is fair. I know Apple's like really big on their security and they want their Face ID system to be like useful for biometric, because a lot of banking apps use Face ID but actually won't work on Android devices that just use camera-based detection, since Face ID uses like laser sensors and stuff like that. Which, whatever, it's fine. Like it's okay, and it's not a big issue. But again, $3,000. Sound quality, speakers, great. Honestly, I'm not really a person who uses the speakers too often. I usually have AirPods or I plug my earphones in or headset. But having some solid speakers has been super useful. For the few times I actually need to use that. The sound is great. They sound a lot better than previous laptops, even my desktop speakers, which means I need to get better desktop speakers, if we're being honest. But that's been great. The 16-inch does sound better than the 14-inch if you're concerned about that, but I wouldn't say it's so much better that that's the only reason you should get a 16-inch MacBook, because I believe the price difference is a few $100s, which is tough to justify if the actual display is not an issue for you. These MacBooks come with Wi-Fi 6, which is fantastic. Now in my home, I only have really Wi-Fi 5 networking, so it has been super useful there. But when I'm on the go, I notice that I get quicker speeds when I'm using Wi-Fi at other places and things like that. I've compared it to like Wi-Fi 5 devices that I have and gotten decent speeds on my Wi-Fi 6 laptop. So that's been great. But other than that, I mean, microphones, they're great. You know, like I said, I don't really use the microphones on the system itself. I usually have AirPods in or some other form of headphone or something like that. But definitely useful for those of you who are on video chats a lot, and you're, you know, Teams, Zoom, etc. Oh, on that note, the webcam. So when I was using my MacBook Air a lot, that had a 720p cam, which they stuck with for years. And laptop webcams kind of all suck, but there's definitely some that are way better than others. And so this 1080p webcam is a surprising jump over that. I knew obviously going from 720p to 1080 would mean a much sharper image, But it's not just that. It's sharper. It handles noise a lot better. It handles light a lot better, especially when I have harsh, bright lights in my background. It does a good job with contrast and things along those lines. Overall, significantly better webcam. So, there's that. But like I said, when I'm at home and I'm on web calls, I have it plugged into like my whole dock system. So I already have a webcam that I use because my previous laptop had such a terrible webcam. But for those of you on the go, that's a huge thing. But yeah, other than that, let me know. Do you guys already have the new MacBooks? What's your experience been like? Would you recommend it? I want to try out the 15-inch MacBook Air because I haven't had a chance to use that. And I think that might be the best laptop that Apple sells, period. But I want to get my hands on that before I say anything along those lines. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you like the video. Give me some suggestions for other types of content you guys like to see. Like I said earlier, let me know if you guys already have the MacBooks. What's your experience been like? Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe for more content. I got some stuff that I'm working on. So this year is going to be a busy one. But other than that, I'll see you guys later. Peace.